All right, we are live. We are absolutely live. Hello, 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 everyone. First off, you don't see Kevin and you don't see Tiffany. Tiffany is going to be late. Plus that in the group chat. Kevin is, as usual, late, so that's no surprise. But luckily, I actually booked two guests. There's a young lady I saw on TikTok. Her name is Jazz J. She's very political astute, and I wanted to have her on the show today, but she said she can't. She can't make it today, but she'll be here. She's going to be here next Sunday, so you guys are definitely going to enjoy her. But I have with us today Brian Simpson, author of what's the name of your book, Brian?
My first one is Town Secrets, an Alex Archer adventure, and the second one is The Nightmare's Edge, an Alex Archer adventure.
Yes. So Brian is a very successful author. He just had a book signing in his hometown of California, and we wish him well. So we're gonna get the show started. So today we are talking about, which Brian and I was talking about. What up, Kev?
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
What's up, Kev? Good to see you.
Man. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
You too.
There's I don't think people are taking this stuff serious enough. Brian and I was just talking about it. Kevin and I spoke about it earlier in the week. They are I don't know if they destroying the Voting Rights Act. They just don't want black people to vote. And the title of this episode is called "They Want Us Back in Chains," and I sincerely believe that, because that seems to be the direction they're headed in. And I've asked on this show many times, what do racist white people want from us? What do they want from us? What would make them happy? And I have asked this question several times. They have everything. I wish I could pull the Joy. I'm going to pull the Joy Reid video where she talked about this extensively. They have everything. They have jobs. They have the police around their side. They have the military. They have everything, and it still doesn't seem to make them happy. So we're going to get into it today. Because it really seems like, I remember, what's the comedian's name that said getting away wasn't part of the plan?
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney.
Yes, sir.
Had a funny skit, and he said the reason a lot of white people are not happy with us is because we got away. They were happy when we were enslaved. And he said something that's so true. He said, when we were slaves, we had 12 jobs. Right? Now we are no longer slaves and we're free. They're like, sorry, we don't have any jobs for it. No jobs.
Yeah. That was funny but sad bit, man. Yeah.
Slept in their house when we were slaves. Now they don't want us in their neighborhoods. They don't want us living next door to them. They don't want us in the same restaurant. They just don't want to be around us. So we're going to examine that today. And again, I don't think a lot of black people are paying enough attention to this voting rights thing and Dr. Umar and a lot of other famous celebrities have said your vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter. If your vote doesn't count and doesn't matter, why are they trying so hard to suppress the black vote?
Exactly.
Just let us vote if it doesn't matter. But, Dr. Umar says some really things, but in the same sentence, he would say some really dumb things. So I'm going to show a couple of videos. We're going to play our theme song, show a couple of videos, and we're going to come back and we're going to get into it. If you want to join the chat, I'm going to put the link in the comments. If you want to jump in, just don't be disrespectful. If you have a difference of opinion, that's fine. We don't care. We're here to debate. If you want to debate, but if you want to yell and just be disrespectful, then this is not the show for you. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. So there you go. The link is in the chat if you want to join, and we'd be happy to have you. With that out of the way, here we go.
The knowledge you gain, break away from the chains. We helping you grow the Black Therapy Show. We in a safe space dealing with the black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Cause we gotta unite, no more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know it, Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany. You'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We're giving you everything. We're gonna challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built your penitentiaries, we built all the schools. Gave us brainwash education, just making us fools. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from my God above. It's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show. Let's go.
Hey everyone, so we knew it was going to happen and it happened. The United States Supreme Court essentially gutted the Voting Rights Act. What does this mean? It means that now in all these different states, a lot of them in the South, these conservative legislatures are going to try to redraw the lines, redraw the maps around who can vote and who is going to be represented. What now is going to happen is it's going to be more difficult to challenge those laws that get passed that we know are intended to make it more difficult for you to have the representatives that you want at a local level, state level, and congressional level. And here's the bottom line. They may put all kinds of obstacles in. Let's not fall for it, because they know that the power is with the people. And they know that when people vote in their numbers, that's when change comes. This means checking your voter registration status. This means knowing where your polling place is. They will try to make it more difficult, but we cannot be deterred. People ask me, Kamala, why are you optimistic? I'm optimistic because I know the power is with the people. And I know that we're not going to let anybody take our power from us. So let's get out there and let's fight.
White people have had a 400+ year head start. 400 years worth of generational wealth stolen from our ancestors, Native Americans, ancestors, mind you, stolen. They didn't earn it, took it, and have had a 400+ year head start and generational wealth. And they can't even handle Black people having one full generation of bare minimum voting right access, bare minimum. We ain't even nowhere near the same level what y'all got. We just talking about voting rights. My grandmother is almost 80. And in her lifetime, she has literally gone from Black people hardly having any voting rights, especially Black women, to gaining a semblance of voting rights, to now those voting rights being back on the chopping block in one lifetime span. Grandmother. This is, it is so enraging. It's giving me goosebumps. And white people, I don't want to hear y'all in my comments. I'm so sorry that y'all are experiencing this. This is so unfortunate. I voted for Kamala. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see a speck of salt in my comments. I'll delete it. I don't want to see y'all right now. I don't care about your condolences. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I'm sick of y'all. I'm so... Jesus. 400-year head start, and y'all can't even handle... This is just...
Did you ever wonder why Black people willingly went through hell during the civil rights movement? House bombs, beaten in the streets, assassinations. Well, I can promise you it wasn't because we wanted to ride white folks' buses. And it certainly wasn't because we wanted to eat at white folks' restaurants. It was because we wanted them to stop playing games with our vote. And so long as they could treat us like second-class citizens in one place, they could treat us like second-class citizens in any place, including the voting. They created poll taxes and grandfather clauses and literacy tests to stop us from voting. But as times changed, they realized there was a flaw in their system. What happens when educated Negroes can read your literacy test? What happens when working Negroes can save their money or pool their money to pay your little poll tax? Well, the bigots were only left with two options: violent intimidation, which was becoming less and less socially acceptable, or something more sinister. You let Black folks vote. but you dilute their political power. You draw districts in a way that makes it impossible for black folks to choose the leaders they want without ever having to talk about race explicitly. That's what Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act went after, the cowardly, race-neutral way in which white people would keep black folks out of power. And the Supreme Court just took us right back to that time. They just recreated the exact conditions under which our ancestors marched and protested and boycotted and disobeyed and demanded change. The question is not if, but when we will do the same.
Killer Mike, please shut the fuck up.
Hey, what's up? Onyx Impact, Black Male Initiative. This is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render. 1965 Voters' Rights Act just got gutted. They gutted it. They literally eviscerated it, and it's now trying to make it easier, or allowed it to be easier, for states to redraw district lines to annex those most in need out. This is not just black people and African Americans. This is poor people. So based on where you are, the more poor people, they can chop you up. They can make sure you aren't voting on the behalf of the poor and the interest. They can make sure that...
We know they gutted the Civil Rights Act, Mike. You helped them do it. You did. You specifically helped them do it. Because you, along with Ice Cube, along with Snoop, along with Nelly, along with Sexy Red, and any of you other fake-ass pseudo-intellectual black celebrities that helped cast doubt on Kamala Harris, y'all helped them do this. So keep the same energy that they have now and shut the fuck up. They ain't saying anything now because they know that they had a part in the demise of black people. Now, like I said in the previous video, we only make up 14%. I understand that. But when you cast doubt on one of the most qualified people, not just women, but most qualified people in American history to ever hold or run for office, you are part of the problem, bro. So when you talk about right now, we got to get together. Yeah, we tried to do this shit before November. We tried to get a coalition going. We tried to make people understand how important it is to choose her. And y'all acting like this was like kind of a somewhat close choice. It wasn't. You talking about the most qualified person to run in a long time versus a convicted criminal, felon, racist, rapist, idiot who fucked things up the first time, tried to overthrow the government the first time, and is even more of a criminal this time. You were one of the people that helped cast doubt on Kamala Harris. And when you say, well, you're not giving somebody your vote just because they black. Nobody I know, not a single person I know was voting for Kamala Harris because she was black. We voted for her because she was the most qualified. We voted for her because she has the best policies. We voted for her because she said, I'm going to give you $25,000 to buy your first home, which helps build equity and generational wealth. We voted for her because she says she's going to give $50,000 to small-time businesses. We voted for her because she is part of the administration that had the lowest black unemployment rate. It had nothing to do with her being black. That was just a bonus. Just stick to rapping. We'll figure it out from here. I'm so tired of motherfuckers.
So, Brian, I'm going to go to you first since you're our guest today. You and I had a little chat before we went live, but like that, Ty Barnett's also been on our show. We love him. He has very politically astute. But yeah, he said, now all of these people that are complaining, what is it we saw that they didn't see? Do you think they genuinely believe that Trump was good and he would do the right thing and he cared about black people? What are your thoughts?
Personally, I just think it's just a case of Negroes doing too much. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, when it comes to live, and when I say Negroes doing too much, I'm talking about your Killer Mikes, your Snoops, these people. They to present and to act like Trump was even remotely close to being a better option was what that killed it for her. And so I just think that they were just trying to be. You ever heard of a person outsmarting themselves? I think they outsmarted themselves and just kind of helped to put us in this situation that we're in. You know, like, you know, Killer Mike, I remember him saying the stuff like, you know, I'm not just going to vote for her because she's black. Man, we don't have those kinds of numbers. Well, some people think that's debatable, but we don't have those kinds of numbers to look as though there was another viable option. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like a lot of the racists who were out there that were voting for Trump were voting for him because he was better. They were voting for him simply because he was white. You know, so I remember, I think it was Steve Harvey one time said when it came to Obama, he was like, you know, did you vote for him because he was black? Steve was like, hell yeah. You know, yeah, I voted for him because he was black. How many times have you guys voted for somebody simply because he was white? And we're not talking about just the presidential elections. We're talking about local elections. How many times did you have a qualified black, brown, female candidate that was pushed to the side in favor of an inept, unqualified white male? So I just think that they doing that, they just kind of outsmarted themselves. They thought about it entirely too much and just were just trying to be too intellectual about something that was actually very simple.
Yeah. Let me show this video, then I'm gonna go to Kev.
Today was not such a good day for me. Everything was just going wrong. I get home, I get on social media, and I see that the Supreme Court has struck down parts of the Voting Rights Acts that specifically would kill like the black vote in the South. Now, I'm not affected per se because that blue dot that you see on that map in Georgia is Atlanta. But still, it's just like, I wonder, do people who are not black understand how it must feel for us walking every day through life, realizing that people hate us simply for breathing air and that our skin is darker? Like, I can't now, different people, women get hate, Asians get hate, Hispanics get hate, but the hate with the vitriol that people feel for black people, what did we ever do to y'all? What did we ever fucking do to deserve the hate? And added on to that, I haven't said much about it. I haven't said anything about it, the whole Clay and Meg situation. And it's not that, you know, it's parasocial or anything. It is the reaction that I have seen from men who look like me and the things that they have said. And hearing white supremacy come out of a black mouth. And seeing today a black man vote to strip black people from their votes, it has been too fucking much. It has been too much. To hear white supremacist talking points and ideologies coming out of a black mouth has been too much for me today. And as a black woman, I'm constantly asking myself, where is a soft place to land? And I never get a fucking answer.
Yeah, we all share that young lady's frustration. But I'm asking the question, like, what would make these people happy? Why are they constantly coming after us? Why? Yeah.
First of all, I think two things can be true. I think that some people voted for Trump just out of lack of education and stupidity. And that would be a lot of the poor white folks in, you know, red states in the South who overwhelmingly voted for this guy when he's done nothing for them the first term. And then they voted for him again, and he's done nothing for them in the second term. And now they're struggling again in their trailer parks and so forth in West Virginia and all these other places. You know, some of these red states are some of the poorest states in our union. You know, Mississippi and a lot of these places. I mean, it's poor blacks there too, but a lot of white people are poor in these places, and they all overwhelmingly voted for Trump. People have been voted against their own interests forever. Guys, you know, and it's just strictly racism and fear. You know, I read that most of the men that fought in the Civil War, most of the white men that fought in the Civil War and died, were poor white men. So they're fighting for slaves when they didn't even own slaves. Only people who owned slaves were rich white men, and most of the men that died fighting for slaves were poor white men. So it doesn't make sense. So this is just voting against your own interests and fighting against your own interests. You know, it's just been something that they do. So I think they knew. Some of them knew that Kamala Harris is a better choice than Trump, but they don't want to see people of color run this country, and they don't want to see a woman run this country, no matter what color she is. And I think they'd rather this thing blow up and go to the ground than have a black woman or a white woman be the president of the United States. So they're gonna ride and die with this guy. You know, I was at the gas pump today. Gas is outrageous. It's ridiculous. And I make a decent salary, you know, but the gas still affects me. I can imagine people who are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, what the gas is doing to them. You know, I mean, if you're not a millionaire, you're getting hurt by the gas, you know. So there's a lot of millionaires, this probably don't affect them, you know, but regular people like me, who 9 to 5, you know, regular people, it affects you, you know. So with high gas prices, if gas prices are high, that means the truck drivers got to charge more to deliver the food. And I mean, the grocery stores got to pay more for that, right? So it's a trickle down effect, because now your grocery prices are going up because it's more expensive to get the food, you know. I mean, everything's trickle down effect, guy. Even the you got to look at Trump's thing. He spent the first half of his presidency, when he first got sworn in on the 25th of last year. He went straight after the Latino community, the Mexicans, and the farmers who voted for him has taken a big hit. You know, the farmers have lost billions of dollars because of this guy, because nobody's working those fields. That's why produce are so expensive right now. They've always been expensive. Now they're even more expensive, you know. Then it was the Elon Musk and the Dodge thing. Dodge supposed to come in and find all this fraud. Never found no fraud. Nobody was ever arrested, you know. Nothing ever happened.
Why? I mean, I want to.
So my point, Carl, is what I'm getting at, man, is that these people know that what he's doing is wrong. My point was, they would never allow this to happen under Barack Obama, and they wouldn't allow it to happen under Biden. I think both of those guys would be in a jail cell right now if they did any number of things that Trump have done. So these people know, Carl, they know that this guy is a bad apple, but but to some of them they know. To others, he's their champion. I said this till I turned blue in the face. Make America great again. MAGA. That's what MAGA stands for, right? Make America great again. That's just a code for make America white again.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. He's doing everything to make America white again. And Carl, you and I had a conversation earlier this week, and I think I mentioned to you on the phone that people have come on this show over and over and over and over and over again, dogging the Democrats. And let's get it clear: the Democrats are not perfect. They're far from perfect. But under a Democratic president, in my lifetime, 8 years of Barack, 8 years of Clinton, Jimmy Carter, I think did 4 years. I'm not that damn old, so what I mean, you know, but I'm just saying, in my lifetime, since I've been an adult, no Democratic president, not even Republican president, because George Bush was president for 8 years, and his dad was president for 4 years while I was an adult. So no Republican president has done what this guy is doing. And so my point is, all the people that come on this show over the years say, Democrats ain't doing shit for me. Democrats ain't done nothing. No Democrat would have never cut the Voting Acts right of 1965. Because it was Democrats that got the Voting Acts passed. You know, John Lewis was a Democrat. Last time I checked, he got his head split on the Ed Pebbles Bridge. Almost died from fighting for our rights. Edgar Meggers, I believe, was a Democrat who was assassinated in his driveway, fighting to get us to be able to vote. You know, So we sit here now and argue about Democrats and Republicans, but we're watching Republicans raise their Confederate flags right now and put Confederate soldiers' names back on the military bases. Something Biden took down, by the way, and now they're gone back up because of Trump. So the Republicans, the Democrats aren't 100% perfect, but I don't want to hear this comparison anymore from anybody.
Brian and I were talking earlier, and I was asking him, "What's the solution? What do we do? We can't protest because we know if you go protest, that they can't wait for the police to come out or Trump to send out the military to harm us." I'm going to show a video. There's this older white woman who was at a protest, and this news reporter was saying in a slick way. He didn't come right out and say it, but he was asking her, "How come I don't see any black people out here protesting?" And I know what he was probably hoping for her to give a different answer, but the answer she gave was absolutely spot on.
And it seems like there's a lack of diversity here today, that it's mostly people who look like you and I, and I just think it
is not for black people, for people of color to get out on the street. They're at risk when they do that. If anybody's going to get arrested here, it's going to be a black person. It is not safe for them, and they don't need to participate. We need to walk in their name.
Right?
Right.
He's exactly spot on. Go ahead, Brian.
He was shocked. If you looked at his face, he was shocked when she gave that answer. He raised his eyebrows, looked at the camera like,
yeah.
Oh, and she's right. She's right. I actually had that question on Friday in Oakland, where I work, and there was a protest there, and they asked, "Are you going to stay for the protest?" I was like, "Absolutely not." I was like, for one, I become a target. I'm 6'2", 240 pounds.
Right.
Yeah. So I stand and black. So I stand out I stand out already. And I said, but this is not my problem to fix. It's my problem to endure. It's your problem to fix because you created this problem. And I've said this before that Dr. King gave white people a way that he gave them a blueprint. He gave us all a blueprint on what to do. And it was called Montgomery with the bus boycott. And when they began to do the things that they were doing or tried to continue to do the things they were doing, making black people stand up and sit in the back of the bus, they were like, well, just don't use their service. Walk.
Right.
And our grandparents, great-grandparents were willing to do that. Me being a black man from the South, I had relatives that did not get on the buses, and the people suddenly got some act right about them. They were like, okay, well, you guys can sit anywhere you want, because they stopped their economic flow. They made a point to let those people know, those races know that, look, our black quarters are just as valuable as a white quarter, and we will keep our black quarters until you start acting right. So what am I saying? With these companies, because it's these corporations who put Trump in office. Yeah, it's the toothless rednecks out in Iowa that did it too, but the corporations have been campaigning. They wanted to get him up in there so they could have reason to stop hiring black management, so they can have reason to pull back on their DEI initiatives and things of that nature. They're the ones that did this. So they're the ones that we need to go after. Miss me with all this get out, no kings protest bull crap. That's not going to do anything. You need to hit these people in their pockets. And truth be told, be willing to go further.
Do you think we have it in us, though? Do you think the black people of today feel the struggle? Because today you have more black people being successful than you had before. Back then, there's very few black people that were being successful. So I think you had more of a chance to get more black people together to protest. But now you got so many black millionaires and a few black billionaires. I don't know if the black people, the working class black people, have it in them to go out and do that kind of protest, and that.
Well, Target's feeling it.
Yeah.
Target's feeling it. I mean, they tried to who that fool. They tried that preacher Jamal Bryant. They tried to get him to talk about, oh yeah, in the boycott, and black people was like, Negro, you don't speak for me,
right? But can we do it across the board though?
I think if we put the effort and the focus into it to pinpoint these corporations, and it may be tough. I mean, because there are some corporations that we use on a daily, Amazon, who help put them in. There are some that it might be harder to do, but I think that if we get together and we focus on not giving giving those people our money, or giving them minimal amounts, like in the cases where let's say you're in a food desert, you might have to go to Walmart because that's all that's around, but you give them the bare minimum, or be willing to go out of your way to not give them anything. I'm not gonna lie, it'd be hard for me to not order from Amazon, but I have lessened that. I've gotten to where I don't, unless I just absolutely have to, I don't order as much. So we've got to do that. I mean, it's critical mass right now. We've got.
Is that the only option, or is economic boycott? We know that's probably the most powerful tool we have. But like Carl said, are we going to organize? Are we going to get? I mean, it would take all of the middle class to do it, but what about the upper class? What about the people that's making $300,000 a year or more? What about the millionaire athletes and the movie stars and actresses and all that stuff, and actors and the people, who are just filthy rich? I mean, does this affect them? I think, first of all, you're right. There need to be economic pushback, but it should start in the South, in the southern states,
Yeah.
Because this so-called thing that just happened, we're talking about on the show, the gutting of the Civil Rights Act of 1965. First of all, it's going to affect the people in the South more than it's going to affect the people in the North right now. So the Southern black people and whites, because it's going to take white people too, guys. We can't do this by ourselves. White people, there are millions of white people who do not want racism in this country, that are not racist. I do believe that with all my heart. And it takes them also to come forward and speak. There's a famous scene in Malcolm X movie where the white lady walked up to him and asked him, what can he do to help? And he said nothing, and he walked off. That was powerful. But then again, that was 1960 something or 19, I think now in the state of this country, it's going to take millions of white people that are sick of this administration. I don't think we can do it by ourselves, guys. I don't think there's enough black people to do it by themselves. It has to be white people to go, I don't want my kids to grow up in this country like this. I don't want slavery. I don't want to go back to the 1800s or the early 1900s. I want us to all live as one. My kids go to school with black people and they're cool. We have to have that, find those people to have a voice also.
And I understand that, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, history tells us that there were abolitionists. I mean, that were white who fought for our ancestors to be free. But back then they were willing. My question now, when you mention white people today, is how willing are they? How uncomfortable are they? We know that we need them to. I think they know that they need to. But how willing are you? You've had several comedians who have said it. Everybody wants to be black till it's time to be black.
Yeah, but right now, bro, everybody's the same color at the gas pump.
Right. No,
everybody's the same color at the grocery store.
No,
everybody's the same color when you look at the bank. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, there are millions of white people, middle class white people, that are feeling the same thing that everybody else is feeling right now.
And
that's
I know
what
that, but I think you're missing what I'm saying. Yeah, right now we are all the same color, but when our parents and grandparents were black in the 60s, they did something about it. So when are they going to do something about it? I know we're all the same color right now. Are they willing to be the same color when it comes to getting out there and doing things? Your No Kings marches on Saturday, that's not going to do a damn thing. That's not going to do a damn thing. When are you willing to shut down streets like our grandparents did? Are you willing to go get arrested like our grandparents and great grandparents did? Yeah. Are you willing to do that? Until then, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I got you, brother. I mean, we have the lady in Minnesota and the gentleman in Minnesota that were shot to death by ICE. They were out there in the fight. The lady who was ran over in Virginia, who was ran over by a white supremacist ran over by a car, and she was out there protesting for Black folks' rights, and she was ran over in Charlottesville, West Virginia, during Trump's first term. The Jews Will Not Replace Us march. Remember that? So
yeah, I was there
with the skinheads. Okay, yeah. So I forgot the young lady's name, but she lost her life.
Yeah.
I mean, so white people are still dying on the behalf of us, because you can believe, even though they didn't want to die, the white lady that was shot by the ICE agent in Minnesota, she was out there, protesting against ICE, who was attacking brown people, basically. Because ICE wasn't in Minnesota to go after any white people, so there are people who are still losing their lives in 2025, 2026 to, so-called stand with Black people, but not on a big level. I mean,
let's say you name 3 people.
Yes.
You name 3 people. And I'm not saying that I want to see white people going out and getting slaughtered. That is the furthest thing from what I'm saying. What I am saying is they are not upset enough. They are not upset enough. 3 people in there, and that they've stopped. Again,
I don't think we're upset enough, because as I do this podcast, on my big ass TV in the background is the NBA playoffs.
We're tired, brother.
I don't think there should be one NBA playoff game played today. But that's not going to happen, because the only person I know that would say, the only person I know that had the balls to do that is the man on my shirt, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
I don't think the rest of these athletes have the mentality that this brother had, unfortunately.
Right.
And if they did, and if they all did, it'd be a different world right now, because they have the power. We have power. But those guys, the NFL players and the NBA players and the baseball players, you go to a stadium, to a football stadium on any given Sunday, the NBA playoffs, which I watch like crazy because I'm a big NBA fanatic. You go to any of these stadiums, a Yankees game, whatever, anything you go to is going to be mostly, except for baseball, but mostly all the other major sports is going. Most of the players are brown people. Right. Even baseball, most of the players are brown. They're just Hispanic or whatever, or they're from other countries. But most of the professional baseball players are brown people. We know 99% of the NBA is brown people, all people from other countries, and most NFL players are brown. It is enough of us to say we're shutting this bitch down until there's some changes made. Nobody's making another dollar off of us. I already got $20 million in my bank account. Let's talk about this, But none of these guys don't take that stance, because, as Tiffany always said, it's more money, more money, more money. They want more money. $20 million is not enough. $30 million is not enough. $50 million is not enough. $60 million is not enough to take a stance. I don't think nobody on this panel, and I ain't counting nobody's money, I don't think nobody on this panel got $60 million in their bank. If I'm wrong, let me know. But we're taking a stance on this podcast right now. We're taking a stance.
Right.
These guys are worth millions of dollars. and they're not taking a stance.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's because, and you bring up a good point. You bring up a very good point because, last person to do it was Colin Kaepernick.
yes.
Yeah, last person to do it was Colin Kaepernick, and everybody saw what happened to Kaepernick, and everybody closed their mouth. Not everybody. I mean, you still have athletes out there who will speak out and say things, but
What happened to Kaepernick? What happened to Kaepernick wouldn't have happened if everybody had his back. Black people continue to watch football on Sundays. I listen to Urban View every day, and one of the people I listen to, love her tremendously, is Karen Hunter. She has a show that comes on from 3 to 6 every day on Urban View. Karen Hunter show. Karen Hunter, hey, what's up? Karen Hunter, that's one of the Michael Jackson interests, right? Karen Hunter has not watched one NFL game since Kaepernick lost his job to this day. And she's a big football fanatic.
Right.
But it takes that type of, and she loves football and she misses it, but she refused to watch an NFL game because of what they did to this guy. And she gives us her word that she has not watched one NFL game since this man has been boycotted. And but that's one lady. How many people have done that? And if everybody would have done that, one, he'd have got his job back, and two, there'd be some changes that would have been made. But nobody has the guts to do these things. It's just few and far between. Kaepernick was, sort of a Muhammad, took a Muhammad Ali stance, basically, yes. Right. And it cost him dearly, I guess. He lost his career. But nobody stood behind him because that's a team sport. Ali wasn't a team sport. He was a boxer.
True.
He went to jail. I mean, took a chance of going to jail anyway for his beliefs, right? But so it wasn't a team sport. It was one man taking a stance. The only person he hurt was himself and his team, his boxing coaches or whatever. But a team sport, like Kaepernick's whole football team should have stood behind him, white and black. We ain't doing nothing till this man come back. But they didn't. They went on and played every Sunday, and that's why we are where we are right now.
Yeah. I think you asked Kevin or no, Carl asked, do we have it in us? Based off that answer you just gave, Kevin, I mean, I can't argue with you. I don't at least at that level.
Yeah, I don't think we have it in us, man. I don't think we have it in us because we're too comfortable. Everybody's comfortable. Even, I've gone to a lot of different countries in my travel, man. I've been to other countries. I've seen how other people live poor in other countries. You think about a poor person in America. If you go down to the hood, let's say I drive to the hood, or even through a poor white area in America, and you look in the window, you still see a flat screen TV and a nice car parked out front. You know what I'm saying? I've driven through the hood plenty of times and seen Mercedes-Benzes parked out front and Beamers, right? Yeah. So even our poor is not poor compared to other countries, man. And we're just too comfortable and too spoiled right now. Dr. King, somebody made a thing about Michael Jackson selling all those albums and being as big as he was with no internet, no streaming, no social media, no nothing. And he was able to become the biggest star this world's ever seen with no internet, no streaming services, no nothing. And he's still the king, right? Dr. King and those guys back in those days were able to do what they did also with less power, less money, less millions, less resources, no internet, no nothing. This guy got 1 million people on the National Mall with no internet, right? for the March on Washington, Yeah. So we got everything. We have millionaires, billionaires, power, the internet, social media. We got everything, and we still can't organize. That's because we're comfortable.
I'm going to show this video of Steve Harvey, which will explain why exactly what you guys are talking about.
$10 million for $4 million, I'll be all the can stand. Black people will be so embarrassed by my performers, you'll be sitting up there just going, look at this big lip son of a... You ain't got to act like that much of a... Okay? Be picking shit off me looking at it. Be walking around that mother. I be digging in my ass. But 10 million kiss my ass. I am a monkey. I swing in on the vine to work.
That's Steve Harvey. Somebody did a voiceover so you can hear exactly what he was saying. But he's saying for 10 million, that's what he would do.
For 4 million, I'll be all the motherfucking monkey you can stand. Black people will be so embarrassed by my motherfucking performance, you'll be sitting up there just going, look at this big lip son of a bitch. You ain't got to act like that much of a motherfucking monkey. Be picking shit off me looking at it. Be walking around that motherfucker. I be digging in my ass. Motherfucker, for 10 million, kiss my ass. Motherfucker, I am a monkey. Motherfucker, I swing in on the vine to work.
So there's your answer.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of it has to do with we've been held back for so long. When we do get something, even though it might not be a lot of, it might be embarrassing. It's like we don't care. We take it. But like Kevin said, Muhammad Ali, I don't know who did he. Do you know who Muhammad Ali looked up to that gave him? I mean, did he have a strong father? Because I don't know who he looked up to, who he emulated, who gave him the balls to say and do what he said. But he absolutely did not care about the money. And he not only did he say it, he lived it. And you know what I mean? He took his gold medal, he threw it in a river, the Ohio River, right? Some river in Ohio.
Yeah, Kentucky. I think it was Kentucky, Carl.
Yeah.
He was...
that was the Nation of Islam. That's where they were the ones who backed him with that. And they were the ones that just his relationship that he had with Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad is and with him, it was just his sheer love for Black people.
Yeah,
just wanting to see us come up and be treated, not better than anybody, but to see us be treated equally. That was his driving force.
Yeah, and why don't we have that today? Why? I mean, I saw an interview with Muhammad Ali, and the guy said to him, "You could have a mansion up on a hill somewhere, and just live your life, and not worry about the." And he said, "I can't be happy living in a mansion. No, my people are down there suffering."
Right.
But we don't have that mentality anymore.
Yeah, there was a great Muhammad Ali line. He was went to a diner with his buddies, and he sat down. The white waitress walked up and said, "We don't serve niggers." And Ali said, "Well, that's good because I don't eat them. I'll give him some food."
Right. Yeah. And it's Kevin hit the nail on the head. We're comfortable, but I would throw in there we're comfortable because we're tired. We're comfortable because we're tired. And we have, even though our grandparents and great-grandparents did so much for us to get where we are, we still fight on a daily. There's not a place that we go into that, professionally for years. I know I think at our ages, I can safely say that we've gotten to points to where we really aren't concerned about people's opinions anymore in our lives. But growing up, whether when we were navigating our professional careers, whatever they may have been, there wasn't a day that we didn't have to go in and work extra hard to prove that we weren't dumb, that we weren't criminals, that we were worthy, that we were worthy of being there. We had to do that more than anybody else. And so now that a lot of us have gotten to a place of comfort, that is not out of laziness, that's out of being tired. We're worn out. And so that's why I was saying to Kevin earlier that I don't think that white people who oppose racism are upset enough. You know, it is their time to fight for this. It is their time, because we have fought this for 400 years. That's 4 centuries. So it is, we can't afford to be tired, but we've almost earned that right to be tired. You see what I'm saying? This needs to be a fight to where if you say, okay, I oppose racism as a white person, what are you going to do? How much do you oppose it? What are you going to do? Are you willing to stand up? This is the type of stuff that we need, to where if there's some place and they see Carl or Kevin being actively discriminated against, are they willing to stand up with you? Or are they going to just give you condolences after you done got your head split?
I personally don't think white people feel what we feel.
No, they don't.
I mean, and should we expect them to? I don't think they would ever feel. And this kind of
going to.
Pardon me?
They're going to.
But I mean, like, we want them to have passion and feel, feel what we feel and how passionate we are and the amount of energy we bring to topics like this. They see they see what it's doing to us, but I don't think they really feel what we feel. I don't think they can feel what we feel simply because they're white and they move through this world differently. Right. So they're not going to feel what we feel. You hear them talk about, I remember the House Speaker, Paul Ryan was talking about lynching back when he was a House Speaker, and he just nonchalantly said, yes, lynchings in America was such an unfortunate situation. That's the way he played, just unfortunate.
Right.
And he just went on talking. I mean, like, you're talking about people getting hung, people that got pregnant, black women that were lynched and got the, I mean, it was horrific, but they don't have the, they don't have it. And should we expect them to?
Nope.
I don't think they can have that. But you see the passion. But now here's the thing, Brian. You let something happen to an animal in America. You want to see white people come out in droves and be passionate and be angry and want to kill somebody and want people to go to jail and they should be murdered. You know what I mean? You hurt a dog in America.
Right.
Or especially a dog, but any animal.
Yeah.
Do you remember like the people, the PETA? They went after Obama for killing a fly. I think there was a fly landing on his shirt or something when he was in office. You remember that, Kev?
Yeah, I remember that.
And he swatted it. And PETA went after President Obama for swatting a fly, for killing the fly.
That's just stupid.
They had more passion for a fly than they have for a black person.
Well, look at Michael Vick.
There you go.
Yeah, look at Michael Vick. You had, matter of fact, you had several NFL athletes. There was one, Kevin Stallworth. He killed a person, drunk driving. Killed a person.
I remember that.
Served not 1 day in jail. Michael Vick killed dogs. Went to jail for 2 years.
He didn't kill dogs. He was dog fighting. Listen, I'm from the Caribbean, and I know, but I know it's different. We're not as passionate about animals as people are here. But dog fighting was a thing.
Yeah,
and it still is a thing. Dog fighting, cock fighting, is a thing.
Yeah.
It's not you intentionally kill your dog. You place a bet on your dog to win a fight, and you put your dog in the fight. And if it loses, but your dog, you don't really expect your dog to die. You want to fight to win, to make the other dog submit. Or when the other person says, okay, enough, I'm going to take my dog out of the fight. But it's not, I'm pretty sure Michael Vick didn't kill dogs intentionally, because that's not how dog fights are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell them that.
No. But would you say white people are obsessed with us?
Yeah. That needs to be studied.
It seems like we just mind our own business, and they seem to be bothered, especially by our happiness. I'm going to show a couple of videos, but and it's true, and of course there's some white people that say, well, we also talk about white people as well. But the reason we talk about you is because you have to do something to make us want to talk about you. We don't just see white people walking down the street and just start saying stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, no. But with white people, with the racist white people, I should say, it seems like we could be just minding our own business, and they just feel the need to get involved. So here's a brother playing a guitar in a park, and this white dude walks up to him, telling him the police say you can't play blah, blah, blah. Mind your business. You're not the police.
It's illegal for you to have the inside the park. Okay. Listen for me. I know they always kick me out, son. If they kick me out, I'll go, but... Okay, just letting you know. I don't want a physical cop. Are you a cop? No. Okay, let a cop be a cop. You're not a cop, right?
White people's urge to police everybody else needs to be studied, because it really gives off the energy of we can't have fun, so nobody else can have fun.
What is it about Black Joy that bothers y'all so much?
Because what would possess you to go up to somebody and say, well, a cop said that it's illegal for you to have that amp, so you should take it down. And when he doesn't fold on your command, then you have the nerve to say, I don't want to have a physical altercation with you, as if the man is being aggressive with you. You can absolutely mind your business. It's free. Mind your business. And I hope that black man is okay. But literally painting him as the aggressor when he doesn't just do exactly what you say is really scary, because the moment that cops would show up, you would absolutely paint him as somebody who is being aggressive with you and or antagonizing you.
Now, here's a clip from a movie, Harlem Nights, which kind of explains. I think I told you, Kevin, I had a white friend that she told me her mom would get very angry when she saw a black person in a brand new car.
Yeah,
Especially,
remember that, yes.
Her mom would be upset. How can they afford it? And the reason she can probably ask that, because she knows how white supremacy suppresses black people's progress in life. So apparently white supremacy is not putting enough pressure on black people to keep them poor if they can afford these cars. But here's I didn't even remember this scene from Harlem Nights until I saw it today. But here you go.
If it was up to me, I'd give you jigs just enough money to function. So when I see you guys with the fancy suits and cars and nice houses, and I'm living in a fucking hovel, I mean, that bothers me.
I love that scene. I'm sorry.
Yeah, same here, Kevin. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes. I'm in a fucking couple. My boy lost it, man.
The hand all in fucking couple.
But that's right. But that's we live that, right?
Yes, you don't doubt.
Right.
Have anything, which is why they're doing this whole stuff with the voting rights. They want us to have nothing. They literally want us to have nothing. Nothing. They don't want us to have anything. It's not like they want us to have a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's the mentality of the racist white man, right? When they came to America, when they went to all these different countries, supposedly exploring, the natives, the Indians here, the Indians in the Caribbean, they were like, okay, there's enough land here for everybody. You know, you have some. Let's all enjoy it. We don't need to own anything. There's enough land and food, but the white man was like, no, I'm going to kill all of you and take it all. That was their mentality. There were 2 million Indians living in the Caribbean. The white man showed up, and 1 year later, you know how many Indian natives were in the Caribbean? Out of 2 million, 100,000.
Wow.
Out of 2 million. So
wow.
They just went around and slaughtered and killed just so they can take the land. How is it in the Caribbean you have people speaking French in the Caribbean island?
Right.
Friggin' French came, killed all the natives, and then, colonized. So these racist, and I have to put that word racist because I'm sure we all have white friends that doesn't fit into this category, but these white people want us to have nothing.
Right.
Nothing. And that's not an exaggeration.
Right.
They would be much happier if we were back in chains.
Yeah, I just read a comment. Emma Crawford, X4P, said that's why they did what they did to Rosewood. And
True.
Rosewood, Greenwood, and if you look up the Red Summer of 1921, there were, dozens of successful Black communities that were burned and destroyed and just torn down because racist white people saw that Black people were over there doing well. And they said, well, if we're not doing well, they can't do well. So they came over and just bloodlusted and just destroyed it. Yeah, just because we were doing well. Black happiness is a slap in the face of white supremacy. It is. The fact that, as you said, Kevin, you make a decent salary. Carl, you do, I do. That is a slap in the face of white supremacy because white supremacy is meant to keep us to where we have nothing, next to nothing. We are not supposed to succeed. I'm not supposed to have written 3 books and have 2 degrees. That wasn't supposed to happen. You two aren't supposed to be traveling the world, doing comedy, making people laugh and earning money doing it. You're not supposed to be doing that. Not according to white supremacy.
No.
So when somebody who has that mindset sees it, it infuriates them.
Yeah. Patricia said one of my neighbors asked me that same thing. My wife and I work full time and we barely make it. You're single. How are you able to afford that house and your cars? Kevin, that's Kevin. Kevin, your neighbors are wondering how you can afford that house and those 2 luxurious cars.
That was before my time. What she's speaking about, but but we still get it though. Yeah. But that was before my time. What she's speaking about. She told me that story about that. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, you see a Black man or Black woman in a nice car or whatever, and of course you get to. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I got a dirty look at the gas station the other day. Just filling up the car, man, and the white guy was like in a not so nice car, and he looked over at me like, if eyes can kill, man, and the look was because of my car. I know it was,
Right.
I just ignored it, but I know why he gave me a dirty look. It wasn't even a dirty look. It was just he looked at me like, why am I in this shit and you in that shit? That was the look he gave me.
Right.
If I was
How did you get that?
That's what I was reading. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you get that? And why don't I have it?
Yeah. But that's what causes racism, because once he sees that, now he's angry that he thinks I stole something from him, or I have something he should have. His mentality is, I've been working in this country all my life. How come I don't have a nice BMW? That's probably what he's thinking, right?
Right.
And I'm speculating, but the look he gave me was very uncomfortable. I think it was because he looked at the car and kind of rolled his eyes, sort of.
Yeah.
And I knew what he was thinking. I could just feel it in my bones, man. He was kind of like, "Why you got that car?"
Right. And I don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they like Charlie Kirk so much, because he gave them an excuse. He crafted an excuse for their mediocrity.
Yeah.
For white racist mediocrity. He crafted a villain, and that was successful Black people. I remember having a conversation with a white man that I worked with, you know, that we traveled together, and when I was in the film industry, we worked on films and stuff together, film marketing. And, you know, this guy venerated Charlie Kirk when he was killed. And I told him, you know, Charlie Kirk was the most vile piece of scum I've seen in a long time. And he was perplexed about that. And when we got into it and we started to talk about the whole DEI thing and how Charlie Kirk vilified successful Black people, that's what he did. He said that he basically told these people like the person that was looking at you at the gas pump, Kevin, he basically told these people and convinced these people that the only reason you got that car and the only reason that you are where you are is because you were given an unfair advantage because of the color of your skin, that you were only put in the position that you earned because you were Black, that you did not earn it, you were not qualified for it, but you were just placed there. Meanwhile, the person who is sitting there believing this, a lot of them are largely uneducated, you know, have very uncultured, have not exposed themselves to anything, have not gone to school, and they're upset because a person who has gone through the training to be, for example, a pilot, the person who has gone through the training to be a pilot, they're mad when they see that Black pilot in the seat, but not mad at themselves for not going to the same schools that the Black pilot went to.
And you know that if you get on a plane, and I get on a plane, I've gotten on a plane and seen and saw the captain was a white female. I've gotten on a plane and seen a Black captain.
Right.
When I saw the white female flying the plane, I felt comfortable as hell.
Right.
And when I saw the Black pilot, same thing, I felt comfortable as hell. And the reason I know that they had to work twice as hard to get in that seat.
Right.
And that's what made me feel comfortable. When I saw that white lady, I go, okay, I'm good. I already know what she probably had to go through to get that pilot license and get that job on Delta flying that big ass plane. You know what I'm saying? So I knew she had to be twice as good. My parents always told us growing up in America, Carl, we always hear we have to be 10 times better than our white counterparts. You know, we have to be, as a comedian, I got to be better than the white guy. You know,
right.
I have to be. You know, I got to dress better. I got to be better because I'm not going to get the same accolades that they get unless I put in extra effort. You know, I was saying what you said about the white guy thinking I got the car because of DEI or something like that. Well, he doesn't realize that if I was, you know, if you're not Black, you probably have more than that in most cases, right?
Right.
You have 3 of them instead of 1.
Right. Right.
So, because you get, you know, it's a lot easier. Who was it? Oh, Chris Rock was the one who had the joke. He says, I saw a homeless white guy today, blonde eye, blue eye, and blonde hair, homeless white guy. He goes, how the hell did that happen? Like, when did you F up? You know,
right?
Because there's no reason for you to be homeless, is what Chris was saying.
Yeah,
they already handed it to you just from, you know, just
it was made for you.
Blonde eyed, blue eyed white guy.
Yeah, how'd you mess that up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there was a pastor I used to listen to. He's deceased now. Fred Price out of Crenshaw, North.
Oh yeah, I know. I used to listen to Fred Price too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Fred K. Price.
Yeah, Fred J.C. Price. Yeah, he used to talk about that. He, you know, he was, you know, you remember him. He was top of the evangelical world, and he started talking about this very thing. He started talking about racism in the church just because of the stuff that he was seeing when he was going to these white churches and how they were kind of treating Black people, not him because he was one of the keynote speakers, but how they were treating other Black people. So he started to speak against it. And he said that. He said, he goes, when I see a white person who is struggling or is not poor, he goes, it baffles me as to how. He was like, because this entire country was made for you. He said, now I see a struggling Black man. He's got a reason. Everything is made to go against him. But you, this is made for you. He goes, so if you're not succeeding in this country as a white man, it is your fault.
Yeah, you want to be poor. If you
Right.
white poor in America, that was your you set out to be poor. You got up one morning, but I don't need any success. I just want to be poor. Because there's no way you're white in America and struggling. You want to struggle.
Right.
No. I'm gonna show the video. I'm gonna show this young lady was supposed to be on the show today, but she couldn't make it. But she's gonna be on the show next Sunday. But she has a video where she asked the question, "What kind of black are you? What kind of black are you?" So I'm gonna show the video, and then we all can decide which kind of black we are.
So me and my husband up talking, and what kind of black person are you? Because we sitting there talking, right? And is it like, are you a Martin, non-violent, keep the peace? Are you a Malcolm, by any means necessary? Are you a Harriet, where you do silent damage to the oppressor and you execute coons? Or are you a Nat Turner? And if you read your history, you should know who the fuck Nat Turner is. Let's just say he believed homicide was the only way to fucking freedom. He killed the damn babies too. I love these kind of discussions.
What kind of black are you? Are you a Martin, a Malcolm X, a Harriet Tubman, or a Nat Turner? I would say I'm a Malcolm. What are you, Brian?
I remember hearing it put before, like a few years ago, that maturity is growing up and realizing that Malcolm was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with Dr. King, but even Dr. King saw the flaw in his methodology.
Right.
When he said in the letter from a Birmingham jail, I fear that I have led my people into a burning house.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would like to say I was more of a Malcolm. That I'm not going to bother you, but
Right.
you bother me.
Yeah.
You got something to deal with.
Yeah. Kev, were you Nat Turner?
I'm gonna say, can I say all three? And by the way, I never. A lot of people compare Malcolm and Dr. King all the time, and I don't do that because I think they just had different methods of with the same goal, and different backgrounds. One was a Baptist preacher, and a very well college-educated man since he was 16. I think Dr. King got his first degree when he was like 16, 17 or something like that. He's a different cat, man,
Right.
He was doing stuff that other 16-year-olds wasn't doing, 17-year-olds wasn't doing. And then he just dedicated his life to this movement at a very young age and paid the ultimate sacrifice. He didn't live to see his kids grow up. He died at the age of 38, right?
Yeah.
As Malcolm too. But I never compared them. They just had different methods. I think a lot of Black people side with Malcolm because he was more what's the word I'm looking for? Militant. And I think we relate to that. He was more of a gangster in a sense. His approach was gangster. And I guess we like to relate to that. There's a famous picture of Malcolm with the gun, looking out the window, about to bust a cap on somebody to mess with his family. And,
Right.
and we like that method. That we would like to think that would be us if somebody messes with our family. So I think we relate to Malcolm more because he was more the guy, I'll punch you back in the face if you step on my shoe wrong, white guy, And yeah, but I just think they come from different. One guy was Malcolm was a street hustler and a crook and a pimp and a little bit of everything else before he went to prison and was turned up by the Nation of Islam, to who we became to know and love as Malcolm, right? Dr. King came up different. He's raised in a Baptist church and had a different upbringing. So yeah, there's two different methods, but I think they all both had at the end of the day, I think if they both would have lived, I think they had words with each other at one point. I think Malcolm didn't really care much for King's approach and made it very clear. But then there's many photos of them together laughing and smiling too.
Yeah.
Some famous ones. I think they kind of were starting to come around to each other's methods because they knew they had the same goal. Also, some of Martin's most speeches that don't get played that you may find on YouTube, he was very militant at the end of his life.
Yeah.
Very starting to change. He was becoming a little bit of Malcolm in him. He was starting to show a little Malcolm before he was assassinated. He was tired. I guess we were saying this whole show, we're tired. I think King was tired of trying to be Mr. Right. And some of his speeches were starting to get a little deep and a little hardcore against his oppressors.
Yeah.
And, of course, that helped cost him his life. But he was starting to turn the table with that Mr. Nice Guy shit later on in his life, guys. You look at some of his speeches.
Oh, yeah.
You probably heard him, but there's some of his speeches later, months before his assassination, he was going hard against the American government, So he was starting to become a little Malcolm, as we say, talk a little bit more like Malcolm was talking later on in his life. But God bless them both, man. Both of those guys made the ultimate sacrifice, man, on our behalf. And without either one of them, they just made it possible for us to be here today and do what we're doing right now. Those guys, man, no telling where we'd be if they would have lived. Yes, it's sad we lost both of those guys, man. Yeah.
I don't think they were comparing Malcolm, and I think they were asking, and as you as a person, and what kind of person are you? Are you closer to Malcolm as a how would you have handled the civil rights issue?
Okay, I'm closer to Malcolm because I'm not as and it's not a knock on Malcolm. Malcolm was a very smart man, but I'm not as bookworm smart as Dr. King was.
Yeah.
King was a very smart dude. Dude was getting degrees on his wall when he was 16, 17 years old.
Yeah,
I'm not a bookworm like that. That dude was a smart man in the classroom. So I got a little bit more street in me. So I'm gonna go with Malcolm.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna jump topics here a little bit, and this is gonna be right in Kevin's wheelhouse because I think we had this discussion last week about Black fathers. So we're gonna talk a bit about Joe Jackson. I haven't seen the movie, but a lot of people that watched the movie said it did not paint him in a good light. His method of parenting seems to be brutal. And was it really necessary to make a superstar do you have to beat the hell out of your kids to make them that talented? Would they have naturally had the talent had he not brutalized them the way he did? So I'm going to show some videos and we'll come back and we're going to have because I have my thoughts on the way he disciplined his kids. And
I have mine. Let's do it.
All right.
There were so many times throughout the Michael movie where all I wanted to do is reach through the screen and knock Joe Jackson out myself because the longer that movie went on, the more he pissed me off. Oh my goodness. Like my brother in Christ, if I had Michael Jackson as a son and I heard that angelic voice come out of a 5-year-old, I am bowing down and making sure this kid has everything he needs for the rest of his life. I'm sorry, but there is no reason to brutally abuse Michael to the point that just at the thought of your name, he actually wants to puke. That is horrible. There was one scene in the movie where he calls Michael in front of all his brothers just to whip him in front of everybody, and come on now, dog. I know it was so much worse in real life, but that was heartbreaking to watch. To the point that even later on in his life, Michael was afraid to even step up to his own father to go do his own solo projects. He really said, hey, I own your ass 9 to 5, boy. You can go make your solo projects till 12, but you gotta make sure you're in the studio at 9. If I was Joe Jackson and my son just dropped off the wall in Thriller, I'm sorry, I'm saying, hey, you could go do you, my boy. I'm gonna let you make your bread for the family. My favorite scene from the entire film has to be during the victory tour where Michael Jackson officially announces that he's breaking away from the Jackson 5 to go do his own solo thing. He looks his dad dead in the eyes and goes, come on, man, that shit was absolutely a banger. I got so many chills during that scene, and come on. If I was Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson would be living his best life, dog, but I guess there's an argument to be made that Joe Jackson did kind of beat him into perfection. Michael Jackson just lived a sad life, bro. That's why he's the GOAT.
Michael said in a recent interview that he was frightened of you. He says that he was so frightened of you sometimes that he would be sick. Is that true?
Well, I just knew about that when I heard him mention that on TV on the Oprah Winfrey show. I didn't know anything about him being sick, but regurgitating. But if he did regurgitate it, he regurgitated all the way to the bank,
What do you mean?
I mean, by me, by me being strict with him a little bit, and it made him a superstar, you know, because look, it just didn't happen on his own, you know. He had to have a beginning. All of them had to have a beginning.
No backstory on Joe. He just mad.
I need to think. I told you what to think.
I feel like we just went out of our way to just make him look like a stoic, I don't give a fuck about y'all, make my money and go sing them goddamn songs.
He was looking crazy like this.
Looking like Lil Daryl the whole time. That was Coleman Domingo this whole movie. Huh? You not gonna mind me? Huh? Micah! I just didn't like it. It was, close your goddamn mouth. What the hell?
That's my son, a regular money-making machine.
That is my son.
He done made all this money.
Look at my cash cow. Everybody open your mouth.
Leave me alone.
So, Joe Jackson said he beat the talent into Michael pretty much. I don't know that. I don't think you need to beat talented because there's so many talented people out there. I mean, he did end up with some very talented kids, but did he need to beat that into them? I think the talent was already there.
Hey, nobody's saying the talent wasn't there, Carl, but I think the discipline and the fear that he put into the boys kept them in the living room practicing to become who they became. Because, and you got to think about this. This happened in the 1960s, late 50s, 1960s in Gary, Indiana. Now, I've done some research on Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana, for black folks in the 60s, you might as well have been living in Mississippi in the 60s. And Joe Jackson's was a struggling musician, but he also was working. This is what the movie doesn't tell you. The guy's working 14 hours a day in a steel mill.
Steel mill. That's some hard work.
That's hard work. And he was putting in 14 hours a day in that steel mill. And he did not want that for his sons. The other kids, I was reading the whole article on it. A lot of the kids that grew up in that neighborhood ended up working in the steel mill. Some of them ended up in gangs and drugs and in the cemetery. And his kids went on to become world famous millionaires. I'm going to go with the ass whooping. You know, I got caught stealing some Twizzlers. My mom, I used to go live with my dad in California. He lived in Berkeley area of California back in the 80s. And actually the 70s, I'm sorry, the 70s. And we used to go out and spend the summer with my dad out in Berkeley, Richmond area.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And it's go to the Berkeley Pier fishing, man. My first fish I ever caught was a baby shark like that on the Berkeley Pier. I remember like I was probably like 11 or 10. But I went and stole some Twizzlers and the police brought me home to the house for stealing Twizzlers. And this is probably 1973, I believe. The reason I know what year it was because my dad took us to a drive-in movie theater to see We Had a Dragon with Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. And that movie came out in 1973. That's how I remember the year. So I got caught stealing some Twizzlers out the store. And police brought me home to my dad. Dad said, go upstairs to the bedroom, take all your clothes off. He came in there with a belt. I ain't stole nothing since. Okay. So I'm going to just tell you right now, I respect what Joe Jackson did to his kids because without Joe Jackson, yeah, the kids had talent already, obviously. Obviously, Michael can already sing. You don't hit a kid with a belt and he starts singing good because my mom could beat me with a belt, my dad could beat me with a belt, and I couldn't sing a lick, right? So, but the beating didn't start the singing. It was the discipline that made Tito stay on that guitar because the legend was Tito had stole Joe Jackson's guitar and learned to play it while this man was at work 14 hours a day to provide for those 9 children in that small ass house in Gary, Indiana. Tito was working on that man's guitar and learned to play it really good behind Joe's back and broke a string. And when Joe saw the string broke on his guitar, he called a meeting into the living room in that little ass house and said, "Who broke the string on my guitar?" Everybody pointed to Tito because they knew ass whooping was coming. And Joe Jackson said, "If you don't play me a song that's good right now, I'll beat that ass." And Tito picked up the guitar and played the shit out of it. And that's how the Jackson 5 was started. So, yeah, you know, we're going to demonize black men in these movies because that's what, you know, white America do, you know. But I disagree. I think Joe Jackson, yeah, I mean, you know, the way the movie portrays it is harsh, but you can put a hidden camera in a lot of houses in America in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Even now, you put a hidden camera in somebody's house and half of us will be in jail for child abuse. Just for spanking our kid on the ass. Because you can't do that anymore either, right? You can't spank a kid, can't hit a kid with a belt no more. That's against the law. You know, everything's against the law. But we can't have it both ways. We can't say there's no black fathers in the home taking care of the kids. And that's why they out being gangbangers and selling drugs. And then you got black kids that weren't out selling drugs that went on to become famous, legendary music group of all time. And Michael Jackson, the biggest artist ever to walk this planet because of his black father being in his ass, you know, and then now we're mad at him for that. So which one is, because Joe Jackson could have just said, "Hey, guys, good luck out there in the streets. You got gangs waiting for you. You got the steel mill waiting for you. Good luck to you."
Yeah. Brian, your thoughts on Joe Jackson's methodology of parenting?
Yeah, I look at the results. I look at the results, and that's what makes me come up with the determination I come up with is, you know, to Kevin's point, you know, the discipline and the hard work, you know, it produced the greatest performer the world's ever seen, you know, and then not to mention, you know, you got Janet, who went up there and, you know, and did what darn near what Big Bro did. But then you look at the tragedy that was Michael Jackson. You know, you look at the tragedy. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, he accomplished what he accomplished, but at the same time, that man was severely he was emotionally traumatized. He was and just lived a life that by all intents and purposes was odd to everybody, you know. And he not that people's opinions matter, but he couldn't live a normal life just because of, and he could not, you know, he didn't function normally, you know. And when your kids tell you that they've got trauma because of you, you need to listen. Okay, there was something that you did. The discipline, no problem with that. You know, Joe was going to get out that steel mill. That was Joe's mentality. I know people that knew the Jackson family back then, and they said that, you know, those, just like Kevin said, those men worked 12, 14, 15-hour days rather, and were barely making it, you know. So Joe was like, "I'm getting up out the steel mill, and y'all are going to help me do it. And by y'all helping me do it, I'm going to keep y'all out of it," you know. But
can I say something, man? The mental. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, finish everything.
No, you good. But there should have been something needed to be done in the sense of helping this man deal with his trauma. You know, something needed to be done. You know, there may have been, you know, as an educator, I've one thing I've learned is not all kids learn the same. Not all kids learn or respond to teaching all the same. So you have to adjust what you were the way that you were delivering the information to one child versus another child. So maybe with Michael, yeah, you needed the discipline, but maybe not the not the beatings, because that traumatized him. That did something to him.
Yeah, I hear both you and Kevin, and I know Michael Jackson did turn out to be a big superstar, and Janet's a big superstar, and the Jacksons are a big successful superstar family. But I am not on the train of brutalizing kids. I'm not on that train at all. There has to be another way. When uh, when I was growing up, I got beat as a kid, and I said to myself, I am not going to beat my kids at all when I have kids. And I did have two sons, and they both can tell you the first one I hit once, and I didn't even hit him. I chased him around the kitchen table because he wasn't doing his homework, and then I got a call from the teacher saying he wasn't doing his homework, and that pissed me off. But and I chased him, but I didn't, I wasn't really trying to. I just wanted him to know how serious. But I had talks with my son. I would talk to them. I said I'm going to talk to my sons. Instead of beating them, because beating just made me angry. To this day, if anyone talks about hitting me, I get so angry. I feel like I will kill. If you raise your hands at me and I have a machete in my hand, I might take it off because I do not like anyone to hit me or say they're going to hit me or threaten me in any way. It just pisses me off because I had enough of that shit. And that's how I feel about it. Right. So I'm not going to do that to my son. So I know Joe Jackson had his method. He was, in my opinion, he was wrong. He would have had superstar kids with or without those ridiculous beatings.
Yeah. We don't know how ridiculous the beatings were, Carl. I don't think all of Michael Jackson's mental problems stem from Joe Jackson beating him with a belt. I know you weren't raised in America, but I'm 61 years old. A lot of 61-year-old kids can tell you right now how many assholes they got with belts growing up in America. So that was just, I'm not saying it's right, but if I had a $20 bill for every time I got hit with a belt, I'd be a millionaire right now. So I don't think it's all about Joe. I think Michael Jackson's fame helped with the mental problems because he was a superstar at 8 years old. And there's a scene in the movie that I saw where he said he couldn't go outside and be like other kids. He said to his mother, he goes, "I want you to go outside and play." I can't. All the kids do is stare at me, and then want to. All they do is stare at me. Is what he said. So, he wasn't a normal kid at 8 years old. He couldn't go out and play because all the kids would look at him because it's Michael Jackson. That's a kid on Ed Sullivan's show. It's Michael Jackson. That caused him mental problems. Growing up in LA, in Los Angeles, and being in that world of LA, you got to realize the Jackson 5 at the height of their career, they were like the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles were grown ass men. When you have people mob, you ever see scenes where people mobbing the Beatles, all these white girls chasing the cars and all that stuff, pandemonium for the Beatles. They were grown men. John Lennon and Paul McCartney, they were grown ass men. The Jacksons were getting the same thing, and they were boys.
Yeah.
They were just 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 with that pandemonium around them, with people just chasing their cars and following them on the airplane and mobbing their house and mobbing them. And the mobs, everywhere they go, they were mobbed. And they grew up in a different world. And all those guys, to my knowledge, have some sort of mental problems. All of them. And I got a chance to meet the Jacksons and work with the Jacksons. And they're some of the most nicest, humble guys you're ever going to meet. They're nice as hell. They are. They're just nice guys, man. Marlon and Tito, I met Tito and Jackie. Just nice guys, man. I'm with the Jacksons, right? And I'm with the Jacksons. And I couldn't even believe I was with the Jacksons because I grew up watching these guys since I was a kid. I'm standing there hugging the Jacksons. I'm like, the fucking Jacksons, right? But they're like the most humble guys in the world. It's crazy. I sung Man in the Mirror in front of them, and they were laughing like shit on stage. And they were just laughing their ass off while I was singing because I was doing Michael Jackson moves and stuff like that. They were just, it was amazing to be in their presence. But they all those guys, I don't know about the sisters so much because they don't get the of course Latoya is a little wacky. The oldest one, she's not really in the limelight, Rebe, that much. Yeah. But the rest of those cats, man, except for Marlon, maybe. The rest of them, all of them have some sort of problems with them. Jermaine slept with his brother's ex-wife and put babies in her. I mean, they're all screwed up. Yeah, he ended up married her. Yeah, he married his brother's ex-girl.
Randy's ex-girl.
Yeah, married Randy's ex-girl. Randy had babies with her, then he married and put babies in the same girl. I mean, so all of them are not normal. To a certain extent, I even gonna say that about Janet too. I don't find her to be too normal either. So, she's done some strange things. So I just think growing up in that environment, of course, Joe has something to do with it, but I'm not gonna put all the blame on Joe. I'm putting most of the blame on Hollywood lifestyle and the massive fame that they got at such an early age that, made them just not normal people. They're not normal. You can't be normal when you're 8 years old and you got thousands of people chasing your car. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's just not normal.
Yeah.
And yes.
Sorry about that. Go. Yeah, I think I think there's a difference. I'm kind of in the middle of you two. I think there's a difference between spanking and beating. I mean, I got spanked. I ain't get beat, but there was, there were, and I mean, some of that is debatable. I mean, there's some of the spankings that I did get, might have gone into beating, but I've seen kids. I'm with you, Kevin. I did a couple things, and my mom, who I just lost my mom recently, my mom and my dad. Thank you. They got a hold of me the right way, and there was some stuff I never did again, But I think with Michael, I just personally think that I'm with Carl on that. I don't think he needed all that. I think he needed the discipline. I don't think he needed to get beat like that. I think that you can have two siblings in the same household, get treated the same way. And one turn out, one go this way, one go that way. One go down a good path, one go down a bad path. I think with Michael, I think, Jackie might have been able to handle that ass whooping without going a little left. But Michael, he just wasn't that one. I don't think he needed all that.
Well, the one who we're saying, and we don't know, we weren't in the house, we're just going by word of mouth and legend, right? But the one who we're saying got the worst ass whooping turned out to be the biggest star the world's ever seen.
Yeah.
So Jackie didn't get the worst ass whooping. Jackie handled that ass whooping, and Tito handled that ass whooping, and Marlon handled that ass whooping. I think Marlon ever got his ass whooped. but all those guys handled their ass whooping better than Michael. But it was Michael who turned out to be the most special out of all those guys, right? Even though we find him to be weird. But we talk about Michael being weird. He had the animals, the monkey and the giraffe in the backyard and all that stuff. But that was because his childhood was taken away.
Right.
There's a scene in the movie where Michael pulls up in his car. He gets out, opens up the trunk, and pulls out a bunch of board games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his brothers are playing basketball, right? And they're like, you want to play board games with us? And they look at him like, hell no. You play no board games, So he was just a different dude, man. That's all. Most of them boys also, from what I hear and read, they were taking advantage of their stardom and sleeping with anything that moved, right?
Right.
Them guys were getting it left and right from the girls, all of them, except for MJ. MJ was watching videos of James Brown while they were out, banging everything that moved in Hollywood. So that made the difference also. That's why Michael was the most talented and stood out because he was, while they were out taking care of their business, their manhood, he was studying Jackie Wilson, you know, and
But
stuff. So yeah,
that speaks kind of to what Carl was saying, though, that when he got on his own and when he got of age, he was about his craft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No
So
doubt.
yeah, he didn't. And so that's kind of why I'm saying, well, he might not have needed all that beating because he was going to do that anyway. Michael, I mean, yeah, I've seen all kinds of skits. There's this one brother on TikTok. I don't know his name, but he always does these skits to the Jacksons music, and it'll be, you know, like Randy singing his part on "Can You Feel It," and Mike walks in and he's playing Mike walking in and says, "Give me the mic." And then when he starts impersonating Michael with the microphone, you see everybody in the studio just like, oh my God, you know, because Michael was just that guy. He was going to be that guy, talent wise. Like, you know, I saw the movie. Matter of fact, after the podcast, me and my wife going to go see it again. But
you're going to see it.
Yeah, we're going to see it again. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And but there's a part where his agent or his lawyer guy, he said, "You've got a voice that the world has never heard." And Mike was gonna have that without getting his ass beat, you know. And so yeah, I don't think he needed that. I think he needed the discipline.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, yeah, I got you. What I was saying though was, in Joe's defense again, Joe wasn't looking at like, yeah, this kid's very talented. He knew that from the beginning. That's why he put him out front. That's where the whole beef started with, you know, Jermaine and Michael, because Jermaine always felt he was a better singer and he's the older one. So how come I'm not out front? Joe had an eye and said, no, yeah, you're a good singer. You know, you're older, but you're not this kid. So Joe knew back then that Michael was special, and his mom knew he was special. She said, "You were special from the moment you were born. I knew you were special." So Michael, you know, I just believe Michael was meant to be Michael. The universe, it was meant to be a Michael Jackson in this world, and nothing was going to stop that. So you're right, but I think the Temptations of Gary, Indiana, in the 1960s wasn't in the favor of those kids or anybody in that neighborhood. And, you know, there's a lot of kids that didn't get out of Gary, Indiana, or high school, for that matter of fact, that went to prison and went to the cemetery.
Yeah.
And that's worse than any ass whooping as far as I'm concerned. Just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but without Joe Jackson, I'm sorry. Without Joe Jackson, hey, look, I'm against domestic violence, but Ike Turner, there'd be no Tina Turner, right? But Ike was wrong with hitting her, yes. But without Ike Turner, we would not know Tina Turner as we know her either, because yes, she was a talented singer, talented woman. She didn't know she had that talent until Ike brought it out of her, you know. But Ike Turner would never know who that woman was, because she would probably ended up singing in a nightclub, and if you saw the movie, you'd invite her on stage or something like that to sing. None of that would have happened without him, and he was demonized also. But if you read books and stories and listen to things about them, she was heavily on drugs also, but they don't show that in the movie. Just show that Ike was a bad guy. I just think we got to stop letting Hollywood demonize black men, because it don't tell both sides the whole story. I think Joe Jackson gets a bad rep. And I know Michael told Oprah he was afraid of his father, but there's also famous scenes or pictures, and I was there. I mean, I followed the case when Michael was going through the child molestation case. Joe Jackson and Michael stepped out of that limousine and walked to the courtroom holding hands every day. So there's so many pictures and videos of that.
Yeah.
When Mike was going through that thing,
Joe was right there.
He walked through the courtroom holding his father's hand.
Yeah.
You know, so there you have it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to disagree because I don't think I think Mike would have been fine without the beatings. I think Tina Turner would have been fine without. They could have
They're
been.
fine about the beatings. I'm not saying that the beatings have anything to do with their talent. I'm saying that without Joe Jackson's vision and discipline, the world may have never known a Michael Jackson or Jackson 5 is what I'm saying, Carl.
Yeah, but they could have been that without all the
beating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's smacking. He's making his kids call him Joe. He smacked one of the girls in the face because she called him dad. I mean, that to me that wasn't necessary. Yes, we all want to discipline our kids. I discipline my kids, but not to that extent.
Yeah, the beating was the beating. I think you would have had Michael without
Zero
the beating.
tolerance for that. Zero tolerance.
Yeah, I think Michael would have been Michael without getting beat. Tina would have been Tina without getting beat. Now, driven and pushed, yeah, they needed that drive and push and discipline, but beaten, nah.
Yeah, I'm not on that train. You know, there's different methods to discipline your kids. I mean, Michael may have made what he sell over 800 million copies in worldwide.
Come in.
He might have sold a quadrillion if he wasn't, you know.
Yeah, his streaming broke records this week. I mean, because I'll be honest, I don't think I've listened to anything other than Michael Jackson ever since I seen the movie.
Yeah, well, I listen to Michael like that every week, and but the movie has made me stay on social media listening to Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
and just watching, the scenes from the movie, man. The movie is just incredible movie and incredible everything, man. Just the Michael Jackson phenomenon is back again.
Did they show scenes from the 30th anniversary at Madison Square Garden? Did they? That was
no, that was not included in the movie. I think the movie cut off right after the Victory Tour. A lot of people complaining that it didn't go further. It was a 2-hour or something movie, but you can't put Michael Jackson's life into 2 hours. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? So the movie cut off right around the time of the Victory Tour. Right after that, basically, I forgot what year that was. I saw the Victory Tour.
84.
84, yeah. I saw the Victory Tour. So, it cut right after that Victory Tour. So it didn't get into, it didn't get into that's, later in his life stuff. It didn't cover anything about the allegations, nor and it shouldn't have,
Right.
As far as I'm concerned. I think we could celebrate his greatness for what it was without fake allegations.
Yeah. There was supposed to be I heard there was like 2 hours cut from the movie. And that 2 hours, a lot of that 2 hours was the scenes about Diana Ross.
Yeah, and we're gonna we don't have Tiff here to do our thing for us, but I'm gonna speak on that for a minute. Allegedly, there was something going on between Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. So and she didn't want that to be exposed. But I'm watching a lot of stuff on TikTok and stuff lately and stuff like that. So they're just saying that a lot of things happen at Studio 54.
Oh yeah.
There was a scene where Michael and Diana was supposed to make a appearance at Studio 54, and they showed up late.
Mm-hmm.
And one of Diana Ross's good friends said, "Where were y'all?" And she Diana Ross allegedly said to her, "He's definitely not gay."
Right.
So so apparently there's some things went on in that, and Michael actually lived with them for a while, lived with Diana Ross. All the Jacksons did live with her for a while, but there's some interesting stuff now that they mention it. You see some scenes and stuff. There's another clip where I saw on YouTube where I forgot the actor's name. He came out and kissed Diana Ross on the cheek, and they showed Michael's face. His face was twisted up, bro. Twisted.
Yeah.
You saw that clip? Oh, the boy was not happy about that kiss on the cheek. So there's something going on between those two. She also didn't come to his funeral, which was baffling to me because I know how close they were. And I watched that funeral from the beginning to the end. She was not in attendance at Michael Jackson's funeral, which was shocking to everybody that she didn't come. But it was just too painful for her to come because I think that relationship a little bit more than what we've been knowing all these years.
Yeah. There was. I think it was. I think it was Jam and Lewis. When or no, I think it was Quincy. It was Quincy when he made Dirty Diana, because that was they said when Quincy said that when the first iteration of that song, he was like, Michael, you can't put this out, because it was explicitly about Diana. Right. And so he was like, no, you got to change this, and so he had to go back and change it. And if you listen to a lot of his songs where he was talking about hurt from a woman, it sounds like it's describing her.
Yes.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
Did he think she's out of my life in the movie?
Did he sing that?
He did not sing that in the movie. That's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs, though.
Yeah.
There's some good songs in the movie, man. The movie is dope as hell, man. It's some great songs in the movie. I won't tell my favorite scene in the movie, but my favorite scene in the movie was the Victory Tour stuff and the interactions with him and the Bloods and the Crips. That was powerful, man, because it shows what everybody says about Michael that meets him, that he was so comfortable. Like, we don't see him as that guy that's comfortable around thugs or comfortable around, but everybody that talks about Michael that knows him personally don't believe the guy you see hearing talking in interviews. That's not really him.
Not him.
So behind the scenes, he's talking like a real brother. He's talking like a real man and a real brother. Some people say I heard rappers say, man, they went to the studio to meet Michael and they were like shocked because they walked in thinking he's gonna be like, and they walked in and he's talking to them like another rapper, like one of them. And he's like, is this Michael Jackson? Like they're all scared to meet him to begin with. Then when they get there and they see that he's not what they think he is, then they're even more shocked. So I hear that. So many different producers and rappers that have met him over the years all say the same thing. He's not that guy y'all see in the interviews.
Yeah, he was. And they said he would. There was this, and I had heard this story before, but there was this this guy. He was a Crip, and told a story about how Mike got in Tupac's face.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
like got in his face, and he and Tupac got into it, and Mike whooped him.
That's what I heard. I heard that story. Yeah, I heard
hearing that way back then, but then hearing this dude, this Crip, he was like, "No, I was there." He said it happened. He said because Pac was dating Quincy Jones's daughter.
Yeah, I heard that story.
And he started, Pac started getting wild and start calling her out of her name. And Mike was like, "Hey, man, she's like a little sister to me. You ain't gonna be just talking to her like that." And Tupac was, nigga, what you gonna do? Mike was, and they said Mike whooped him.
There was another scene. Well, I just saw this on YouTube where Michael, Janet, and the mom was in the car, and somebody had grabbed Miss Jackson, and Michael jumped out the back like protecting his mother. So don't get it twisted.
Yeah, the brother was still from Gary.
Yeah, no doubt. So he had it. Everybody falls, for that little, same thing with Prince, man. People say the same thing about thinking Prince was, but I hear, stories about Prince behind the scenes too, the same way. Like, so don't believe everything you see.
Right.
To wrap it up, I want to thank everyone for watching the show. Thank you, Brian, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Brian. Good seeing you.
Appreciate you guys, man.
By the way, Brian, you said you just lost your mom, man.
Yes.
Yeah, we just buried my dad last week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. So we just laid my dad to rest last week, man. So condolences to you and your family, man. That's a hard thing to say goodbye to a parent, man.
Yeah, I think it's still sort of surreal. We're flying out. My wife and I are flying out to Florida on Wednesday to lay my mother to rest, and it's of course I cried like a baby,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
when my dad told me she was gone. But since then it's been surreal, kind of like almost like it doesn't feel real. And I think, I'm thinking that when I walk in the house and she's not there back in Florida, that's when it's gonna really be real, really feel like, okay, this is for real. Because I still expect her, a text from her or that kind of stuff right now. So yeah, y'all keep me in your prayers.
Will do, man. I picked up the phone to call my dad like 40 hours ago just to hear his voice on his cell phone, because the cell phone's still on. My son. I called to hear his voice, but he didn't have a voicemail. So it hit me right then. I was like, I can't even hear this guy's voice right now, man. So yeah, man. God bless you, man. We'll keep you in the prayers for real, man.
Much appreciated, guys. Much appreciated.
Was your mom ill, Brian? Were you expecting it, or was it sudden?
It was kind of a mix of both. She had found out that a pain that she had been dealing with for a little bit was actually cancer that had spread to her hip.
Oh.
Yeah, and so once she got the diagnosis and everything, she just kind of accepted it, and it kind of let it take its course. And I think after probably about 6 weeks after the diagnosis, she was gone. So my sister passed from cancer. My first wife had passed from it too. So I've kind of dealt with this before, but not with your mother. So
yeah, no doubt. Wow. So yeah, we're all three of us recently, because Carl recently lost his sister too, man. So we all going through it right now, man. So, under those circumstances, man, we really appreciate you coming on the show, knowing you're dealing with that, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. I see Emma. Thank you. And Emma said she lives in Daytona. I'm from New Smyrna Beach. So Daytona, you definitely know New Smyrna. So I'll be that way next week or this week on Wednesday. So
great, man. Safe travels down there, brother.
Thank you.
All right. I want to thank everyone. Emma, thank you for chiming in today. Donna Haygood, thank you for chiming in. Nicole Coates. Tiffany popped in, but I guess Tiffany was kind of busy today. So we didn't have Tiffany, but I'm pretty sure Tiffany will be here next Sunday. And also, like I said, next Sunday we will have a special guest, Jazz J, a person I saw on TikTok. She's very pro-Black, and that's exactly what we're looking for. And before we go, Brian, anything you learned or you want to share before we go? Any knowledge you want to tell these? Because I don't feel that a lot of Black people are taking this voting rights thing serious enough. I just feel like one morning we're going to wake up and they're going to realize their rights are gone.
Yeah. I think that, we do need to sit out in certain capacities. Excuse me, as far as all this marching, and I think this is a fight that white people who say they aren't racists need to fight. But while they are fighting, those who will, I think that we, as Kevin was mentioning, need to be strategizing. You mentioned this too yourself, Carl. We need to be strategizing and unifying. We need to be strategizing and unifying so that we can be prepared. Because, a lot of people, when ICE started going on, you had a lot of Latinos saying, well, you guys are next. It was like, well, we ain't never been next. We've always been first. And so we need to be looking at what these people are doing, strategizing and preparing and getting ready to take care of ourselves.
All right. Kev, anything you want to say before we?
Yes. I want to say that they've been Roe versus Wade. They've been rolling back everything. Now the voting they're rolling back everything they can with this Supreme Court justice who is just KKK in black robes right now, and I don't say that lightly. And even Clarence Thomas. So we'll have to do a whole show on him one of these days, and we'll have you back for that, Brian, because I'm sure you got something to say about his ass. But so I think I hate to say it, but we're going to mess around. At this rate, the 13th Amendment is going to be gone, and when that's gone, all hell breaks loose. So we need to get, and people don't know what I'm talking about, just go do some reading, go to a YouTube video, and just pull up 13th Amendment and do some homework.
Yeah.
When they knock that down, we're back in the 1800s. And everybody think we can't go back there. This is what I want to say before we get off the show. Everybody stop thinking that this cannot go backwards. We can go from 2026, 2027 back to the 1800s.
1827.
Just with them, this KKK Supreme Court justice saying, let's gut the 13th Amendment. Because as long as he has a loyal military and loyal Supreme Court justice, he can do it, and loyal police force. ICE is the biggest police force in the world. As long as he has loyalty from those people, he can do what the hell he want to do. Unless somebody grows some testicles and say, we had enough. Ain't nobody stopping him. Who's stopping him?
Nobody.
Who done stop him from doing anything he's done since last January 25th? Not a damn soul. So he can do what he want to do. 13th Amendment, gay marriage, all that stuff is gone. Everything's gone. It's all gone. I don't care. Anything that was passed is gone eventually, sooner or later, if he's not stopped. And if he can look and say, we just cut the 1965 bill, we just gutted that, and there's no outrage.
Right.
There's no outrage. There's no people in the streets. James Harden still shooting jumpers right here on my flat screen. In the NBA playoffs in the background. Everybody's just living their life. Kevin about to hop in his Beamer and go to the store. Paul's about to go do his thing. Brian, everybody living their life. Like everybody's going about their normal business. And ain't nobody angry enough about this, then they ain't gonna be angry about the other stuff we're about to cut. And then once we cut the 13th Amendment, welcome to the 1800s, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself some cotton and some good shoes. It's gonna be a long night. Yeah, trust me when I tell you. I know I'm talking about. Go read them about the 13th Amendment. Get on YouTube. Get off of TikTok. Go get on YouTube. Watch some videos on the 13th Amendment. If they cut that, we're all screwed. And they're gonna do it. Well, they're working on it. That's the ultimate plan. Project 2025 is in full effect right now. And Kamala Harris and Barack Obama and a few others, what's her name? Stacey Abrams, they all talk about this Project 2025, and nobody would listen. Nobody listened. Trump said, I don't know anything about it. And this picture of him and dude Kevin, I can't think of Kevin's last name, on the plane. The guy who's the architect of it. Yeah, they on the plane together.
Yeah.
On a rear jet. And Trump goes, I don't know anything about it.
Right.
And black Trump supporters are still voting for the guy.
Right. So, like a bunch of damn idiots.
Yeah, so we in some trouble right now. And I don't know how we're gonna get out of it. But you and your wife enjoyed the Michael Jackson movie. It's an amazing thing. I think everybody should go see it. It's an amazing night. It takes your mind away from all the other stuff, you know.
Yeah.
People dancing in the aisles.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie, Carl. Go see it, man. You'll love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't punch Joe Jackson in the middle of the, because you'll get him. Carl will get him punch the damn screen.
Yeah, Carl might give Joe the business.
Is it like how people hated in Django Unchained, how people hated Samuel L. Jackson? You hate the actor just like that?
Not to that extent,
no.
You know, but yeah, you're not gonna like Joe. And shout out to Coleman Domingo for how he
Yeah.
played that role. I mean, that brother
First of all,
played
I thought he did a great job. He should get a nomination
that
for it.
role. He
Said
should.
it.
And Nia Long. I mean,
Yeah, she was powerful. She was powerful. Yeah.
yeah, she played Katherine Jackson. I mean, I was making it. I made a joke in a TikTok video that I made about the movie. I said, you know, my wife wasn't elbowing me for looking at Nia Long in this one
For once, right?
right, for
Funny.
once, because you know she became Katherine Jackson. You know,
Right. That's funny. That's a good point, man. I'm gonna steal that joke too. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. It's funny. Yeah, she did become Katherine Jackson, but everybody in that movie did a great job. Every actor in that movie did a great job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it a point to go see it this week.
I think you would like it, Carl. Let me know how you like it, man.
Oh, dude, I was a huge Michael Jackson. I have to show you pictures of me with the Jerry curl and the curl drop.
Boy.
I was the biggest Michael Jackson. Well, one of the biggest Michael Jackson. I used to think, man, God, I'm in the same world as Michael Jackson. That used to make me feel good to know that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's an amazing thing. That I was talking to somebody who was recently who was told me they were too young at one of my shows that we talk about Michael Jackson. They're like, I was too young. I wasn't here. I was in Michigan performing in Michigan last week at Michigan State, and one of the guys I was talking to saying he was too young to remember Michael Jackson. You know, he knows who he is, but he didn't live through the Thriller excitement. He definitely went around doing the Jacksons, you know. So, and I was like, wow, I never even thought about that. Like, you missed that incredible time of life in America, man, in the world, you know.
Yeah.
To live through Michael Jackson's prime Thriller, you know, that was something crazy, man, you know, that we never will see again.
Yeah.
Not from Chris Brown, not from Taylor Swift, not from nobody. Nobody's going to capture that magic ever again. The closest thing we have to Michael would be Prince, but nobody is going to be at Michael's level ever, ever.
I mean, and like you were saying earlier, Michael did that without the TikTok, the internet, Instagram. I mean, this was just TV and newspapers.
Yeah, that's it. And I think people always compare Prince and Michael, and I'm a huge Prince fan. One of the most talented humans ever walked this planet. I love Prince. But I remember at about a year before Prince passed, him and Dave Chappelle was at a NBA basketball game. I think they went to the Golden State Warriors game, sit in the front row and watch the game.
Yeah.
And I always bring that up to people that compare. I go, man, Michael Jackson was so big, he could never go to a basketball game and sit in the front row. All the attention will be on Michael Jackson, not the basketball game. People were able to watch Steph Curry play and forget that Prince and Dave Chappelle, arguably at the time the biggest comedian in the country, was sitting next to each other watching the game.
Right.
Michael Jackson could have never done that.
Yeah. But Magic Johnson said he invited Michael to a game and he came and he had to leave.
He had to leave.
Michael Jackson.
People starting to try to mob him at the game. At a Lakers game during Lakers showtime.
Mobbing, yeah. He's too big to go places, man. He's too big. Matter of fact, he actually paid Disneyland in Florida, or Disney World in Florida, to shut the park down so him and his friends can go. He had to pay them to shut this park down. Whatever they make per day, he paid that to them so they can shut the park down so him and his friends can go to Disney World and enjoy the park because he can't go there with other people. He's just too big. Yeah, he's too big. Crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. The guy wasn't normal. He didn't live in our world, man. It's crazy.
All right. Wrap it up. Brian, again, can you remind us of your books and where we can get them?
Yeah, absolutely. My first book is Town Secrets, an Alex Archer adventure. It's a suspense thriller series. This is number 2, The Nightmare's Edge, which picks up where that one left off, an Alex Archer adventure. And I've got the artwork with me for the third book. I just got finished with the edits, but this is the artwork for the third book, and it'll be out on the market later this month. called The Reckoning Hour, an Alex Archer adventure. It's the third in the series. And you can find them at my website, theauthorbriansimpson.com, or you can go to major retailers like Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and you can find them there.
But preferably go to Brian's website.
Oh, yeah.
Carl, I have a book too.
What?
I have a book too, Carl.
Yes.
Hey, Brian, did you know I was an author, Brian?
No.
Yes, sir, man. I'm an author too, man. Carl has my book. I have a book. It's called Plan with Fire. That's the cover right there. Plan with Fire. Comedian Kevin Lee. That's my book. And there's a picture of me and the Jacksons. You can't see that, but it's a picture of me and the Jacksons right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. That's my book, Plan with Fire. On Amazon. It's a great read, man.
Only on Amazon, Kev?
Yeah, I'm only on Amazon. I'm not as big as Brian. I don't get the bookstore. My book came out 10 years ago and I sold 10 copies, but I'm proud of that 10 copies. It's an amazing read, man. Some big stuff in the works with this book, actually. I can't talk about right now, but yeah, it's that's me and all the celebrities there. Bill Cosby, Gladys Knight, a little bit of everybody, the Jacksons. So yeah, man. It's a great book, Plan with Fire by comedian Kevin Lee.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, what's it called? Play with Fire.
Plan with Fire, comedian Kevin Lee, Amazon. One day I'll be like Brian and be in Barnes and Noble.
All right, we gotta wrap it up again. Thanks to everyone that watched. Please like, share, subscribe, and please remember, nothing that we said is all entertainment purposes only. We do not own the rights or the content, any music that was played on the show. It's all for entertainment purposes only. I'm going to show this video. I like to promote Black businesses on the show every Sunday. So this is, I think this person is promoting Black apps that's telling you, oh, okay, there's a guy that's, if you're into coffee, if you are a coffee drinker and you're Black, you might want to check this guy out. And also the other video is going to be an app. Some apps are going to show you where to get Black businesses, where to buy stuff from Black businesses. So here we go.
For those of you who may not know, I actually started a coffee brand recently, and I ordered every single type that we have, and I just want to show you. They look so good. Are you joking? This is my brand. It's called Basin Street Beanery. It's based after my mother. This image is based after her because she was just such a huge coffee drinker growing up. It's kind of based around our Louisiana and New Orleans roots. These are all of the blends that we have. We have the dark French roast, your caramel medium dark, the toffee medium roast, a light roast, and we have a decaf medium roast. So this is the whole spread. If any of y'all are interested in buying some coffee from a Black queer-owned business, hit the link in my bio and get you one.
These 5 Black-owned apps are changing the game and building the future. Eat Okra connects you to thousands of Black-owned restaurants across the U.S. Today, over 19,000 Black-owned spots light up the app, from soul food trucks to vegan cafes. Black Wellness Our Way, Alchemy. Health offers guided healing, meditations, and mental health support, rooted in our stories, designed by and for our community. Goal Setter helps Black families build wealth, teaching kids to save, spend, and invest with quizzes, challenges, and real debit cards. Travel smart, travel safely, and travel Black. Green Book Global lets you explore the world with tips, ratings, and safety insights for Black travelers by Black travelers. Spill is the social network where Black culture sets the vibe, built for creativity, community, and expression. It's the new digital block party, powered by purpose, shared with love. Each one, teach one.
Black, 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 black. I love being black. Black, 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 black. I love being black. Black, 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 black. I love being black. Black, 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 black. I love being black. knowledge you gain. Break away from the chains. We helping you grow. The Black Therapy Show. You be in a safe space dealing with the black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Cause we gotta unite. No more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know, with Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany, you'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We'll be giving you empathy. We're gonna challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built your penitentiaries, we built all your schools. Gave us brainwash education, just making us fools. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from my God above. No, no. It's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show.